Hey, Good evening to everyone. Thank you very, very much for joining us. First, a very special thanks to two very, very special brothers, two potential tzaddikim and potential leaders. I'm now referring to me and my brother Yaniv. I think we already are tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem. But both Nadi and Eitan Elishayv, they're the ones that really pushed for the shiur, Baruch Hashem, for quite some time. I know, so what's like a lad, don't worry, Eitan and Nadi always coming, we have to put together the shiur, and of course their friend Yaakov Pleshti as well. He didn't have that tag team partnership like Eitan had with his brother, but I meant you guys really, I could see you wanted it, and Baruch Hashem, we're here tonight. Hopefully we could give a little words of encouragement and inspiring words to everyone that's here with us tonight. I'll be very honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what the topic of today's shiur is. I've been hearing a lot of mixed, topics, dating, marriage, the purpose of life, why we're here, Facebook, internet. I'm getting text messages with different topics. And I don't know if people are doing this to tease me, to get me confused. But Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll try to give you a nice little salad. We'll try to touch upon a little bit of everything. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. You know, I think we can all agree that we're living in a generation where people have no sense of direction. They don't really have a purpose. They don't really have a goal in life. And you just walk in the street, you see it for yourself. Mamash, hevel, everything is hevel havalim. People are running after it. They don't know what they're running after. And I'll tell you a story that happened with me mamash recently, not long ago. I was outside walking with one of my baby daughters, Shubrim, and she was wearing a nice little pink outfit. And as we were walking, we happened to bump into someone that I know that was walking with his dog that also had a pink outfit. So, we started a little conversation, and the guy tells me, "Oh, wow, your daughter looks so beautiful in that outfit. Oh, so cute, so adorable." And then he calls his dog over, and he says, "Come, baby, come, look how cute she is."
The dog has the same outfit?
Not the same outfit, Chaz v'shalom. Similar outfit. Right. Come, and he's telling the dog to see how cute my daughter is. So I figured I had to compliment the dog, and I said, "Wow, she looks so cute with that outfit too." And he was really happy. Yeah, I bought it from here and there. And he's like, "So tell me, how old is your daughter?" So I said, "My daughter is almost 4 months old." So of course I had to ask him how old his dog was. And I'm like, how old is your dog? And he's like, "Oh, she's almost 5 months old." And he's telling me story. I'm thinking, wow, maybe they could be in school together and shidduch, I'm saying, mamash. But he's talking in a way like, mamash, I'm raising a child, he's raising a child. And he's not the only one that sees his dog as his child. We're living in a generation where people say they'd rather raise dogs than raise children. Kelev, kolev, they get in the whole heart. And you have a whole generation of people. You walk down the streets, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, who do you see in the streets? It's people walking their dogs. Right? And that's the mitzvot of today's generation where people are not looking to have a family life. And that's because people really don't have much guidance. They don't have a purpose, they don't have a goal, they don't know what they want to live for. They're not really sure what they want to do with themselves. And letzarenu harav, Baruch Hashem, we don't have this problem. But we do have a similar problem in that many of our community members have no sense of direction. They have no sense of purpose. And they're not quite sure why they're even here for. What are we living for? I always say, I quote one of my rabbis always said that, do we live to make money? Or do we make money to live? I mean, most people today live to make money. But the mindset we should have is, we make money to live. Right? We need money to live. We got to pay off our bills. We got to pay off for the groceries. But at Tzarenu Harav, we totally flipped everything around. People are living for the wrong reasons. And they have the wrong mindset in their lives. So Be'ezrat Hashem, hopefully today we could analyze purpose, goal, direction, and with the help of Hashem, hopefully we could get a better clarity as to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects from us. We'll start off with Be'ezrat Hashem, going back over 5,700 years ago to the time of creation. I want to share with you the famous Dvar Torah, which I love telling over. If you open up the Chumash, you'll notice that after every creation, After Hashem created the sun and the moon and the stars, He created animals, and He created fruits and vegetables and plant life. After every single creation, the Torah tells us, Vayar Elokim ki tov. Hashem saw it was good. Vayar Elokim ki tov. Hashem saw it was good. Right? However, when Hashem created Adam, Chava, He created me and you, it doesn't say Vayar Elokim ki tov, that Hashem saw it was good. So the obvious question is, what? A dog is good and we're no good? A cockroach is good and we're no good? How can it be Vayar Elokim ki tov for everything except mankind? That's the question. And Morai Rabotai, the answer to this question is a foundation of life. And this is a topic, this is a point that you have to take with you, put it in your back pocket, and remember it forever. Because we have to realize what the difference between us and the rest of creation is. Listen very carefully what the Chachamim tell us. The Chachamim explain to us that if you take every aspect of creation, take the sun, take plants, take animals, the way they are created is the way they will always be. It is what it is. They have no mitzvot and averot. A dog doesn't have to honor his father and mother. A cat, when he looks for food in a dumpster, doesn't have to look for the OU symbol. Right? Because they have no mitzvot and averot. They are what they are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Tov, this is good. Its creation is perfect. Its creation is complete. I'm stamping it good as it is. That's what every aspect of creation is. It is what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. However, when it comes to you, and it comes to me, it comes to any human being, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says what? He says, Natty, I want you to prove to me that you're good. Reuven, I want you to prove to me that you're good. Right? He's talking to every single one of you. Sarah and Rivka, you got to prove to me that you're good. Right? And you know when I'm going to stamp you good or bad? It's not while you're alive. It's after Ma'asrim Shana. After your time in this world is over, that's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu could say, oh, this guy lived a life of Tov. Or Chaz v'Shalom, this guy did not live a life of Tov. So now what defines Tov? What defines good? We know it says, Ki lekach tov natati lachem, Torati al ta'azovu. It says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Lekach tov natati lachem, I gave you a good gift. I gave you a gift that is Tov. What is that? Torati al ta'azovu. Do not leave a life of Torah. Don't let go of it. Hold on to it. Hold on to the Torah. That is what is Tov. You live a life of Torah, you're Tov. You Chaz V'Shalom don't, you miss the boat. The animal's better than you. Morai v'Rabotai, you have to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us over here. It's much different than any other creation. And even amongst human beings, we have different responsibilities. Even amongst Am Yisrael, there's different responsibilities. But a person has to realize, whatever your responsibility is, you are required to put your utmost potential in doing it. You must give your fullest. You must give your effort. Problem is that people always complain, but I wasn't raised in a religious home, I didn't go to the best school, I don't live in the best environment, I can't really get to that potential, how am I supposed to do it, where am I going to get the necessary tools to become what I'm supposed to become? I want you guys to listen to something very, very important, because this is really a valid claim in the eyes of the world, but it's not so valid when it comes between you and Hashem. And I'll explain to you why. You have to understand, every single person is given the necessary tools to live his life. If you look at our own forefathers, and you look at Abraham, look at who his father was. Abraham did not come from the greatest home. Right? And you look at Abraham's children, he had Yitzchak and Ishmael, right? They came from the greatest home. Look what happened to Ishmael. You look at the Imaot, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, they all came from difficult homes. Right? And Esav, look at Esav's father, a tzaddik. But no, there's no kind. You don't have to necessarily come from the greatest home to become a tzaddik. And you don't necessarily become a big rasha because he came from a bad home. Every single person has his own potential. Every single person has his own kochot. And you have to bring out that potential that's within you. I'll share with you a beautiful point that makes this a little clear. How do we say person in Ivrit, in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh? Adam. Ish is a man, Isha is a woman. Adam is a general terminology for person. Right? Adam. What does Adam mean? What does it come from? What's the same word? It comes from the same root. It's the same root word as the word Adama. Adam, same word. Adama means earth, dirt. Right? Someone tells you you're a piece of dirt, you tell him, and so are you. Because we all are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us from earth, from dirt. So Morai Rabbatai, listen very carefully. The commentators ask, couldn't Hashem give us a more respectful name? You have to call us dirt? Call us the ground? I mean, at the end of the day, it's true our bodies came from the earth. But at the same time, we know that what? Our neshama comes from the greatest, from the Kisei HaKavod, the holiest part that could be in this world. So why couldn't Hashem give us a more respectful, a more dignified name? Why did He have to call us Earth, Adama? And the Mefarshim explain something very nice. They tell us that if you look at Earth, you look at the dirt, you go to the backyard in your house, that is full of potential. If a person plants a seed and he waters it, gives it the right amount of sunlight, he takes care of it, he nourishes it the way it has to be taken care of, after a few months, a year, 2 years, whatever the time is, you're going to have beautiful flowers, you'll have a nice fruit tree, you'll have something that's very productive that's growing. If you neglect the earth, you have just wild grass growing over there. Nothing that you could use. The Chachamim say, you know why God called you earth? He called you dirt? To tell you that you are a bundle of potential. If you're going to plant and water yourself and give yourself the right nourishment, the right amount of sunlight, then you'll see, not tomorrow morning, not a week later, months later, maybe a year or two later, you'll see yourself start sprouting. You'll see the fruits of your labor. You'll say, Gemara is not for me, I can't learn Gemara. Gemara is for you. I can't figure it out. You put your time into it. Right? Halakha is too difficult. You'll see as time goes by, I'm sure many of you guys sitting here that have been putting in a few months into your learning, you see that you're capable of understanding the limud. Maybe not as great as the guy that's been in yeshiva his whole life, but slowly but surely, you're starting to grasp concepts. And I see it myself, because when you guys ask me questions, you're using concepts that a year ago, if I would say even one of those words in a sentence, you're like, oh, what are you talking about? Keep explaining to me. And now you guys are throwing me all these different yiush and shalomi dat, and you're telling me all these different things, right? Things that you never knew, but because you're sitting down and learning the Gemara, learning Shulchan Aruch, you're throwing out these words that you never fathomed you were able to speak part of your vocabulary. But Morai v'Rabotai, you gotta what? You gotta put your time into it. Adam, you are an Adama, you're a piece of earth, you're a piece of dirt. Not in a derogatory necessarily, but telling you your potential, every single one of you. If you take care of it properly, you will sprout into something beautiful, something special. And that's the idea that the Chachamim always tell us. Every single person has the potential to become, not Moshe Rabbeinu, not Chacham Ovadia Yosef, not Rav Eliashiv, right? You're going to become who you are. Reuven will become Reuven, and Shimon will become Shimon, and Levi will be Levi. Right? And Shema, they're going to say, why did you become like you? Like Moshe should have been. Not Moshe Rabbeinu, like Moshe Baruch. Right? Why weren't you that? Right? That's what they're going to ask you. Why aren't you being who you could have been? Right? And that's why, guys, never, ever, ever say it's not for me. Just keep trying. Kaver Hashem, CHAZAQ, Kaver Hashem, keep putting your hope, keep putting your effort. And Bezrat Hashem, you will see, I guarantee you will change. It might not take a few months, it might take longer. But what? Every single person, if you put the right amount of water, the right amount of sunlight, you will see that you're going to improve in your midot, in your learning skills, and in everything else as well. However, I'll give you a warning that I always warn people. And this is a common etzah that the Yetzer Hara always tells us. Atzad the Yetzer. The Yetzer Hara always tells us, okay, take it easy. Take it easy, I'll change. B'ezrat Hashem, I will change. Let me just finish high school. I finish high school, I'll become a new person. Right? And what happens is, the guy finishes high school. Oh, in 2 months I'm starting college. Once I start college, I'll become a different person. And they start college. Once I finish college, it's too stressful. I finish college, I'm telling you, you're going to see me be a different person. They finish college. When I find a job, Let me find a job, more stability. I'll start changing. I'll keep more mitzvot. He gets a job. Rabbi, let me get a shidduch. I get a shidduch. I'll start changing. Get the shidduch. Rabbi, one second. Let me get married first. Gets married. Let me have a child. Has a child. Wait for his bar mitzvah. Oh, when he gets married, I'll become a grandfather. Morai v'rabotai, next thing you know, you never changed. The Yetzer Hara keeps telling you, push off. Get a little more comfortable in life. Get another stage in your life past. Right? Finish off college. Finish off this. Finish off that. He always gives you new starting points. And every time you get to that point, he gives you a new reason. Oh, it's too difficult. It's too this. It's too that. And he tells you, let's start the next stage. Morai v'rabotai, you have to realize no one has any guarantees, no contract, how long you're going to live. Im lo achshav im matai. If not now, then when? If you're not going to change right now, then when are you going to change? Who guarantees you anything? Right? And don't say when I get a little more comfortable in life, I have more stability. Because at the end of the day, you always have new challenges that pop up in life. That's a mitziyut, that's a fact. We read in the Torah recently regarding the Jewish people traveling in the desert while they were in the Midbar. It says, what was guiding them to go, stop and go? What was their guidance? What was the GPS? It was God gave them the clouds of glory that were what? That were signifying to them when they should go and when they should stop. And when they rested on the Mishkan, it meant everyone, red light. When they lifted and started going, it meant everyone, get up. The Ramban over there tells us something very interesting. He questions why the Pasuk has to go through so many words to explain how the whole procedure went. And he says over there that if you look, if you see what the Torah is trying to tell us, it's telling us that not always did the clouds go when we wanted it to go, and not always did it stop when we wanted it to stop. In other words, sometimes what happened was we were, let's just say, comfortable at our, relaxation, and we wanted to stick around for a little longer. Everything was nice, and what happens is suddenly the clouds say, okay, everyone get up, let's go. And everyone's like, oh, if you want to stay a little, okay, we have to leave. And a lot of times they're going and going and going, and they really can't wait to stop. They can't wait to get a little breather, relax. And what happens is, it just keeps going and going. Right? Says the Ramban, the people didn't complain. Even when they wanted it to stop and they kept going, they didn't complain. And when they wanted it to stay, and they kept... they knew how to what? Just follow orders. Says, the Mektav Meiliyahu, Rabbi Eliyahu Desser says, this is a tremendous lesson for all of us when it comes to service of Hashem. Sometimes we say, when this changes in my life, things are a little easier, instead I start keeping Shabbat a little better, learning a little more Torah, we're doing this, doing that. What happens is, says the Mektav Meiliyahu, you don't make any rationalizations. You have a mitzvah, you got to do it. Don't say, I start going to shul when the weather is a little colder, and then when it's cold, I start going when it's a little hotter, and when it's raining, I'll go when it's not raining, and when it's this. Every single time you're going to rationalize why I can't do a mitzvah. Right? A person has to realize, when it says stop, you stop even if you want to go. That means even if something important is coming up and it's Shabbat, you stop everything. And when you got to go, you go even if you want to stop. You right now are in the middle of a big game, or you're in the middle of a great, whatever it is may be, and you have to daven mincha, Habibi, you get up and you go. A person has to realize in life, don't push off. Don't say later, I'll do kacha, because when you start procrastinating, what happens is, I'm telling you right now, you'll see yourself in old age, and you still haven't changed. You'll be the same person you were when you were 15, and when you were 20, and when you were 25, and you have people that put on tefillin every single day, since the age of 13 to 90, and they haven't changed one bit. Right? And they're doing everything robotically and routinely, right? And everything is done in such a fashion, and it's done in such a fashion where it's almost like we're doing it, we don't really care. We're doing it because, our parents told us, because the Rebbe in Yeshiva told us. With heart, with emotion, not at all, unfortunately. That's Arenu Arav. Person has to what? To realize the time to change, the time to improve is achshav. Im lo achshav im matai. I want to share with you a beautiful mashal. A beautiful mashal which I always enjoy telling over, because it really depicts what life is all about. They tell over a case of two people. There were two guys that were working in the clothing industry. Now these two guys had a mission. They were sent out to France by their boss. And the boss tells them, listen, there's going to be a clothing show out there in France, and I expect you guys to go there. It's going to be a 7 to 12 day show. I'm not sure when I want you guys back. Be ready. Anytime between 7 and 12 days, you guys are going to be back, right? And I expect you to come back with a net gain, a profit of $100,000 each. Right? You guys gotta be prepared. You guys gotta make sure you do your job properly, present yourself professionally, so everything should work out. Okay? So what happens is the two guys go on the trip. They're there for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. Day number 8, they get an email from the boss. I expect you guys to come back to New York. They get their next flight back to New York. Immediately they get back to New York the next day. The boss sits down with both of them. Imagine we have Reuven and Shimon. And the boss says, Reuven, how was your trip? How'd it go? And Reuven says, boss, I must tell you, I've never been to France before. It was beautiful. You know, everything I heard when I was younger, mamash, emet lamito. They didn't exaggerate. The food was great, the beaches were great, the hotel service was phenomenal, right? And we saw so many tourist attractions. I cannot be more grateful for you sending me there. So the boss says, Reuven, I'm very happy you had a good time. Reuven, how much money did you make? And now Reuven starts stuttering. He says, it was a very difficult time over there. It was very competitive. How much money did you make? And Reuven started and he says, I made about $30,000. 30 out of 100,000. The boss says, sit down. Then he tells Shimon, how was your trip? And Shimon says, I'll be very honest with you, the food was great, the hotel service is okay. I didn't really have a chance to go around town the way Reuven did, I wish I could have had some more time over there, but I didn't. Okay, so how much money did you make? And now Shimon has a big smile on his face. He says, I made $125,000. The boss says, okay, CHAZAQ Baruch. Now I ask you guys a question. Who had a more exciting time on this trip? Reuven or Shimon? Obviously, during the trip, Reuven, you had a blast. But now I ask you what's even more important. Who's going to have a better time now that the trip is over? Obviously, Shimon is. Right? It's not about who's enjoying at the moment. It's about who's enjoying when the moment is over. Right? And many times you look at our friends, look at him, he's having such a great time. Right? The question is, he may be having a great time for these few minutes, right? The feeling of emptiness he has when he comes home, put that aside for a moment. But is he fulfilling his 7 or 8 decade trip in this world? Right? How many years? 70 years, 80, 100, 120 years of life. Again, no one has any guarantees, right? But is he fulfilling his purpose? That's a question you guys have to ask yourselves. As today's generation is getting really more technologically advanced, I think we could all agree over here that unfortunately we're wasting so much of our time on shtuyot, on nonsense that has absolutely no bearing on the life you want to live. Nothing, it won't help you out. It won't benefit you in any way, shape, or form. Right? It's just a way of killing time. People love to kill time, waste time. Right? And that's what today's youth, when I say youth, I don't just mean 18-year-olds and 15-year-olds. I mean even people 25 and 30-year-olds sitting there on their Nintendos. There's a big game coming up in a basketball game, and I don't know what, the Miami Heat and who knows what. So he's playing the game before the game happens. As if it's going to affect the outcome of the game. Right? And they take it so passionately, and they're so serious about it. Right? And we're talking about not 15-year-old kids, we're talking about adults. Adults are doing this, Hashem Yishmo. And they're wasting their life on shtuyot, on things that have nothing to do with life. And now we're not saying you can't have fun, but we have to know what is normal and what's not normal. We have to know how much time are you putting into this, right? Are you killing an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours on this nonsense? You know how valuable life is. You know how many people, again, I'm sure none of you guys here do this stuff, but they're so addicted to Facebook. What do? They have to go to lunch. What do? They have to make a comment. I'm going to have lunch. And someone's like, oh really, I'm also having lunch. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to have pizza. He's like, oh, and then some other guy's like, oh, I just had meat, I can't have pizza, I wish I could have pizza. Someone's like, don't worry, if you wait 6 hours, you can have pizza. I heard some people wait 3 hours. And they just comment back and forth, and they waste time. Then he has to go, he has the test tomorrow, he tells the whole world he has a test tomorrow, and someone gives him encouragement, I pray for you, oh please pray for me. And they're going on, every step of their life, they're just typing and they're informing the whole world, right? They have nothing better to do. And then 2 a.m, he can't fall asleep, gets up, turns on the computer, oh, I'm having a hard time falling asleep. And it takes about 25 seconds, and the friend of it says, oh, I'm also having a hard time falling asleep. And this is what people, it's almost like they're living for other people. Right? Everything they do, every little picture, load it up. And everything they do, l'tzarenu harav, is for the world, and they don't realize they're wasting their time. But besides wasting time, and I'm saying this right now, be'emet mikol halev, could someone over here please explain to me, how is Facebook or these other social media websites beneficial in your life? I'll give you a chance to raise your hand, explain to me, and believe that I'll have my own Facebook page tomorrow morning also if you convince me. Anyone? Jonathan, Joseph, what's your name again? Jonathan, yes.
Advertising in business.
Now let me ask you, how many people over here advertise their business?
No way.
Jonathan. Now Jonathan, what business do you have? How old are you?
17.
17. You're advertising your business? What? I hear. Now that's the reason why you have Facebook. You're just advertising your business. Oh, you don't have, your parents have it. Okay, I'm talking right now to you guys right now. When I give classes to parents, I talk to them about that as well. I'm asking you right now. You guys over here, for anyone that has Facebook, explain to me how in the world it's beneficial for you. Yes?
Well, people have it because, like, worldwide, they can stay connected to other friends and family.
So we have over here a nice answer. He could be connected to his aunt in Israel. He could be connected to his uncle in Florida. And he has a cousin that lives in Brazil. So everyone could see in one shot what goes on. So I ask you a very simple question. Why in the world do people put up pictures that have nothing to do, with family life? I mean, does your aunt in Israel have to see you going clubbing? Does your uncle in this place have to see that? I mean, unless they're interested in that stuff. I'm not speaking about you specifically, I'm saying in general. People. I mean, if you really think about it, I deal with many young couples in the community. Without exaggerating, many of the issues, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw that Time magazine, one of these magazines says that 30% of divorces today actually have Facebook as one of the causes of it. And I'm seeing it myself. I would say with percentage of people that come to me, it's more than 30%. That Facebook is one of the causes why they're having a difficult time in their marriage. And I'll tell you guys a chidush. I'll tell you a tremendous chidush that I've learned over the past 2-3 years. Not only is people's Facebook status as married people affecting them, but their status from before they're married is coming back to haunt them as well. Right? Things that they posted and said and did when they were 17, 18, 19, 20 is coming back to haunt them now that they're 23, 24, 25, 26. Right? I'm not talking about in terms of business, but today businesses are checking out who you are on Facebook. I'm talking about in terms of marriage life. And I try to understand what benefit does a person get by showing his averot lekol ha'olam kulo. It's very difficult to do teshuvah then. Because it's imagine, you guys are all good kids. You guys are all good, Baruch Hashem. You guys have a good heart. You guys mean well. Explain to me how you're going to have to answer. If Chaz v'shalom your kids 15 years from now see these pictures. Because these pictures don't just disappear right away. Right? Once it's on and someone tags it and another guy gets it. Dad, is that really you? What are you going to say? No, they superimposed my head into this guy? What are you going to do? I mean, you can probably give excuses. But let's be realistic. The busha v'cherpa, it's enough in olam haba we have to have it. Right? But the busha v'cherpa, we have to answer to our children, to our wives, to who knows what it is, to our husbands, whatever it may be. What are you thinking? I'm telling you guys. Now that most of the people here are still in the younger age. I'm telling you, think twice before you join these groups, before you put anything up, before you join such a website. At the end of the day, the damage is so much greater than the reward. The damage is 100 times, 1,000 times greater than the reward. If your aunt in Israel really misses you, you get her email, you send her an email of your pictures. Right? And your uncle in Brazil misses you, send the same thing. It does not have to be done in such a fashion, because at the end of the day, people have all these different other pictures of people pop up over there. Pritzut, it affects your mindset, it affects your way of thinking, and it affects your appreciation for what a human being really is. Right? You're looking at them in a different fashion. It's affecting how you want to choose a girl to marry, how you want to choose a guy to marry. It has a totally different effect on your head. It corrupts your mind. Right? If anyone could explain to me how it really is beneficial, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, because 90% of the people are using it for the wrong things. And don't say you're part of the 10%. Let's be realistic. Right? We're all affected. We're all dragged into the majority. That's a mitzvah in life. That's why I always tell people, before you do something, just think twice. We're not talking to 10-year-old kids over here. You're going to be B'ezras Hashem be, in 5 years from now, just the youngest here is what? 17? Right? 18? In 5 to 10 years from now, all you guys over here, B'ezras Hashem, hope to be married. Right? What do you want to be out there for the world to see? Again, you won't be fooling around the way you are right now. You'll be more mature, you'll be keeping Torah mitzvah better. What do you want the whole world to see? This is what you want the whole world to see about you. Right? It's a tremendous degradation of your kavod of Torah. Right? The kavod of your families. Right? A person should think twice, 3, 4, 5, 10 times before you post up anything or before you even sign your name on. If you could go home tonight and press, how do you delete? You press delete, what do?
Delete.
You press delete, khalas, get yourself off of it totally. And your friends will make a whole story. Oh my God, did you see? Oh, she's not on Facebook, he's not on Facebook, what happened? You know? Oh, he became so religious, so fanatic. Right? You have to understand one thing. They're the ones that are going to have the issues. They're going to have the issues when they're going to be married. It's a fact of life. That's how it is. Right? It's affecting marriages. It's affecting love life. It's affecting family life. It's affecting every life. Because the Yetzer Hara tells you it's only for business. He tells you it's only for your aunt in Israel. But in reality, he has a bigger picture for you. And that picture is to besmirch your name, besmirch your reputation. The reputation you're trying to build yourself up to, they're taking it, they're trying to destroy it. How? By posting up simple pictures. Right? Every single one of us, if anyone's telling you, what are you talking about? If anyone wants to argue with you, please argue with me. Right? But if anyone is denying it, you're not fooling anyone besides yourself. That's a mitziyut. You're not fooling anyone besides yourself, Habibi. Therefore, if you would ask me what I would suggest to you guys, and I'm looking at you as my little brothers and sisters, or my older brothers and sisters, but I'm sure you don't have Facebook, right? Do you? Baruch Hashem. But in any event, these are things that are not going to be beneficial. Take it off. Just take it off. Don't wait till 2 weeks from now. Take it off tonight. And if you can get rid of all your pictures, get rid of it. Because I'm telling you, you will eventually see the stupidity behind this, and you'll see that you don't want your wife and kids to see this stuff. You don't want yourself to remember this stuff. You want to get rid of it. Yes, you got another customer while we're talking. What happened? Yeah.
Only bad can come from it, right? Pretty sure good comes from it.
No. Everything, obviously, you have to understand. Good could come from anything. Right? But you have to just look at the basic statistics. Right? The majority of people, right? What do they get? Good out of it or bad out of it? Majority. Now we're talking about not just 51% to 49%. We're talking about a huge majority of people. All those youngsters are on it. Right? Those 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old boys and girls are not on there, advertising their businesses. They're over there advertising other things. Right? Hashem Yishmo. And you know what? And let's be realistic. All of them, every single one of them, when they're married, and I'm not talking about getting married and they don't have the right perspective of marriage. Those people couldn't care less. Right? They're not really marrying long term. I'm talking about a person like you, that you want to have a steady marriage, you want to have a steady family life. Right? You don't want any of that information. Right? You know how many people come over to me and say, Rabbi, I've gotten religious over the years, but my pictures are still there, and everyone's teasing me with those pictures. Right? It's a major tease, and it's killing. It's kabarat avanot. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you haven't put it up, don't put it up. Right? It's gonna hurt you. I'm telling you. Imagine you have a girl that puts up all these pictures, and now she's married. She's frum, she's religious, and she's living a good life. And she's 28 years old, 29, 30, and she has a 7, 8-year-old girl. Right? And Baruch Hashem, that good girl, she's here and there. And somehow, someone says, oh, look, I have a picture of your mother when she was in school with my mother. One of her friends shows it to her. And your wife is teaching her about tzniut and about realizing you have to be modest. And then here she is being shown by her own friends in school pictures of your mother, of your wife, Hashem Yishmo. Right? Could you imagine? And this is a very common occurrence. Guys, it's happening with guys and girls all the time. When they're married, they just don't know what to do with these pictures. They don't know what to do anymore. I'm warning you, before you get married, think twice before you do anything. Think 10 times. Get rid of it altogether. At any event, I mean, if you're really thinking about it, we're all, Baruch Hashem, at a stage of our lives over here where you're starting to mold who you're going to be. You know, a person could change at any point of life. There's no question about it. But right now, especially the ones of here that are still in their teenage years or early 20s, you guys are starting to mold who you're going to be. You're starting to shape out your future, right? And the question is very simple. How do you expect, and I tell this to people all the time, how do you expect to be a faithful husband or a faithful wife if as a single guy or as a single girl, you cannot hold yourself back from your temptations? Now let me see what I'm saying. Today we're living in a generation where people want instant gratification. They have a desire for something, they run for it, they'll do anything to get it. Right? They're interested in seeing something, they'll go get it. They're interested in going somewhere, they'll go there. Right? There's absolutely no self-control. Someone gets you upset, you snap at him. Someone taking too long, you let them know about it. How in the world can a person expect to have a normal marriage life in the 21st century when everything is hustle, bustle, moving so fast-paced, and so much immodesty and immorality going on around you? How do you expect to live a moral life with your husband or with your wife when you cannot control yourself when you're single? Oh, Rabbi, yeah, when I get married, you'll see I'll be different. Habibi, marriage is not a one-year journey. B'ezras Hashem, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Right? That means you're not just going to marry her and say, okay, Allah, it was a good time knowing you. I'll visit the child once a week, whatever it is. Chas v'shalom. I mean, that's how it is today, lo aleinu. Right? But the point is, obviously, your goal in marriage is long-term. And if your goal is long-term, and you have no sense of self-control while you are a single guy or a single girl, I ask you, please explain to me, how in the world, when your wife is 6 months pregnant, right, and she has a double chin, and she keeps telling you, pass some more cake, pass me more popcorn, right? Explain to me how you're going to have the self-control to be a faithful man. If while you're single, you're going on the internet, and you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, and you're going to places you shouldn't be going, you really think when you're married, you're going to be able to just block everything off? I'm not even talking from a Torah standpoint, I'm talking from a social standpoint. You really think when you're married, you're going to be able to block things off? Guys, it's very difficult. We're creatures of habit. Right? If I, right now, as a single guy, I'm used to doing ABC, I will not be able to wipe off ABC when I get married. The only way for me to be protecting myself from ABC is if I protect myself when I'm single. Again, I'm not talking about Torah, I'm talking about from a social standpoint. Right? Morai v'rabotai. Today's generation where we see divorce rates are well over 50%. Right? Well over 50% around the world. What is the cause? What is the main problem? What is the cause of these issues? And the answer is very simple. It's because people don't know what they're getting married for. They don't have the right perspective of marriage. You know, it's like the story I always tell over. I was visiting someone in the hospital. and by the windowsill, they had 2 stacks of magazines piled up together. One stack had a picture of a Hollywood couple, smiling, happy, and mamash, anyone would see it, God, that's all I want in life. And it says A and B in love. The second stack of magazines had the same Hollywood couple, but this time there's like a lightning bolt separating them, and it says A and B split up. What? What was that? No, it happens every single day. You're telling me names. It happens every week we hear the story. Right? They're in love for 1 month. In 1 month's issue they're in love. Second month's issue they're separated. Or third month, maybe something go on for 3 months. Some go on for a year. It's mamash a chidush. They say you got married. They had 2-year marriage. Right? It is a chidush. I mean, it's not an easy thing today to be married for 2 years. It's not so simple. Right? Morai v'rabotai, how does that happen? Now, one issue they're in love, one issue they're separated. What's the answer to this? And the answer is very simple. En lahem ahava, yesh lahem ta'ava. They have no love, they have desires. In other words, Joe sees her, he sees Jessica, and now he sees a beautiful girl that has money, has status. She sees a good-looking guy that has money, that has status. What a perfect shidduch, right? Perfect, beautiful. The whole world talks about them. Their wedding is all over the newspapers and the magazines. But being that their love was dependent on desires, right? Therefore, when the desire dies out, they're not so interested about it. The money is not so intriguing, and this is not so intriguing. Next thing you know, it's over, right? And if you really think about it, today's day and age, this trap has come into our community 100%. Many times, our decision making is 100% depends on what? On looks, on status, and we overlook the character flaws. We ignore the disrespect, the lack of respect for the Torah. No, I'll change her. Why is it the girl that you're not interested in, you can't change her, but the girl that you are interested in because of looks, you can say, I'll change this character trait, I'll change this, I'll change that. It's a ta'ud, morai v'rabotai. And that's what Facebook really does. It's all about face. It's about the picture. It's about the looks. Right? That's how we decide who's worth it and who's not worth it. Right? And that's how people become popular. That's how people get respect. It's all about the pictures and where you were and how you did and where this and what that, who's in, who's not. Morai v'rabotai, if you want to base your marriage on that, then CHAZAQ baruch, b'chaber, I'm not stopping you, but you will, 90% chance you'll regret it. It's probably even greater. Right? If you tell yourself, you know what, let me build a life, b'tara, b'kedusha v'tara, you'll see it's a totally different structure. You'll be much more organized. You'll be much more prepared for the challenges of married life. Right? Because you're going to have challenges. And if you don't prepare yourself while you're single, you're going to have a very difficult time when you're married. It's a mitziyut. You know, the Torah tells us one hint, a piece of advice of how to control yourself when you're married. It says in the Torah, kedoshim tihiyu. What is kedoshim tihiyu? You must be holy. What does it mean must be holy? What does it mean you must be holy? Separate from what? Let me ask you now. You see, you must be holy. It can mean keep Shabbat, because Shabbat is part of the basic obligations. It can mean eat kosher. I gotta eat kosher. Right? What does it mean, Kedoshim Tiyu? Says the Ramban, he says Kedoshim Tiyu means you should separate yourself from what's permitted to you. You hear? Hold yourself back from what is permitted to you. What's forbidden, the enemies can't have it. To be holy, hold yourself back from what's permitted to you. I'll give you an example. You're having right now a meal. You have some, I see with the chicken fried rice. You have, what's that, the chicken with the long spaghetti? The chicken noodles, whatever it's called, chicken lo mein. You have an egg roll and you have a little, whatever you call it, chicken, the red stuff, what's that called? Sesame chicken. Right? So now you have a little bit of everything. And you're eating, right? Baruch Hashem, you're eating to enjoy yourself. You feel full. Now you want to grab another egg roll, another sesame chicken. Too much. Right? No, you can eat. You have your desire. You definitely desire a little more. According to Torah, can I eat it? It's kosher food, not kosher food. Can I eat it? Of course I could. Enjoy. Why not? But the Torah tells us, Kedoshim Tiyu, separate yourself from what you're permitted. Don't take that extra piece of sesame chicken. Don't take that extra egg roll. Why? It's mutar, it's permissible. You know why? You got to exercise your muscles of self-control. What's going to happen is, tomorrow when you desire something that's forbidden, something that you cannot have, whether it's going somewhere, saying something, seeing something, whatever it may be, right? Your muscles will have, Baruch Hashem, something to show for it, right? And how do you exercise it? Not on what's forbidden. You don't put yourself in a challenge, what's forbidden, and hold yourself back. You hold yourself back from what's permissible. When you hold yourself back with what's permissible, you're going to have the inner strength to hold yourself back with what's asur. You know, in yeshiva, we used to make our own exercises for these things. You know, one thing that I took upon myself, my parents used to live on the second floor of an apartment building. So when I came back from yeshiva, when I clicked the elevator, right, if I would see the elevator was past the third floor, I would wait for it. If it was under the third floor, it was on the lobby or the first floor, second floor, I would take the stairs. What was the idea behind it? I had major anger problems. I still have to this day, Baruch Hashem. Right? But it was greater when I was a teenager. And I also had lack of patience. So how did I exercise it? Not in the moment of arguing with my siblings or my parents. I made myself my own little thing. With the elevator. When I click the elevator, if it's past the third floor, it's on floor number 4, 5, or 6, I would wait for it. This is how I would exercise my patience. Just wait. Chill out. Relax. Right? And then any time it was under the third floor, on the lobby or first or second, I would take the stairs. Don't be lazy. You're a young guy. In other words, I made myself my own personal exercise to work on myself, right, on the issues that I have. And every single person could do the same thing for himself. Because when you get married, you're going to have a lot of challenges. Guys like to get dressed chick-chack, and the girls, they take their time. You know, they say, give me 10 more minutes. They really meant 10 more minutes to choose the shoes. Right? And then another 10 more minutes, and this and that. And then you have over here challenges in patience, in a person's savlanut. Right? And now when it comes to laziness as well, to be active with the children, it's not easy running after your kids and waking up. A person has to get up and not be lazy. Get up, help the wife out. Right? And sometimes your wife's not feeling good, you have to take an extra load on your shoulders. The idea is a person has to realize, if you expect a change when you get married, it's almost never going to happen. Right? It's not going to happen. A person must exercise his control, his emotions, his character traits must all be worked upon while you are single. Because if you only try while you are married, you'll see it's too much pressure. It's not going to happen. And then you're going to go to the rabbi, to the marriage counselor and say, listen, it's not for me. She was different when I was dating. You know, she fooled me. She tricked me. And she says, you tricked me. And it's going to be a whole thing. Everyone's going to accuse each other of tricking. When in reality, everyone's just being themselves. But you just don't know how to react properly to the situation. This is the key point, Morai Rabotai. Kol echad ve'echad. My challenge to you guys is, if you have a Facebook account, to get rid of it. Unless you could explain to me, like I said, why you absolutely need it in your life. The way I see it is, guys are there for the wrong reasons, girls are there for the wrong reasons. They're just looking out there for their desires, to show off, to be out there. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you in terms of life, in terms of purpose of life. It's not going to help you. It's only leading to a lot of problems, a lot of pritzut, and a lot of matters of tzniut that must be worked upon. Well, I want to end off with you, Bezrat Hashem, with a very simple question. If I ask you right now, we're sitting here in a nice, beautifully lit room, I ask you, how do you see me sitting in front of you right now? What would you answer? Obviously you see with your eyes. You don't see with your nose. Obviously with your eyes. But believe it or not, the Chachmei Kabbalah, the sages tell us that you're wrong. You don't see with your eyes. You see through your eyes. I'll explain to you what they mean by this. You have to understand one thing. You see, every single person has a neshama. The neshama, the soul, is inside a person's body. The neshama is a life. In other words, if right now we have a room that's dark, pitch dark, it's choshech. Imagine this room is dark right now. And you walk over to the wall where there's a little hole in the wall. And you can see through into the next room. How do you see the people in the next room? With the hole or through the hole? Through the hole. You see through the hole. The hole can't see. Now imagine that hole is a bit scratched up. It's a glass hole scratched up. So now you're looking through the hole, but you don't see well. Is it a defect in you? Or is it a defect on the hole? It's the glass. The hole is what has the issue. Right? What if I come in and bang the wall down? There's nothing stopping me from seeing now. The Chachamim explain that we all have a neshama, we have a soul that's inside of us. That neshama that's inside of you is what sees, is what speaks, is what hears. However, it's limited by the body that it's in. That means it can only see through the eyes, and hear through the ears, and speak through the mouth, because that has its limitations that Hashem gave it. Now, if someone, God forbid, has problems seeing, or God forbid someone's blind, it's a deficiency in the what? In the physical aspect. The hole on the wall is what the problem is. Right? The neshama, once it pierces its way out of the human body, 120 years is over, the neshama has nothing holding it back from seeing. It sees, it hears. In fact, when a person passes away, he's hovering over his body. He's like, hey, I'm okay. What's going on with you guys? Take it easy. Chill out. Right? Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. But the point is, it sees everything that's going around him. It hears everything that's going on around him. The only thing is, he doesn't have the right tools to express himself. He doesn't have the body anymore. Right? A person has to realize that what? We are put in this world, like we said, for a limited amount of time. No one has a contract how long his time is. However, every single person has his time in this world. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocher l'arichut yamim v'shanim with much health. Amen. Ken yiratzon. Amen. However, we have to realize that our neshama needs to get the proper nourishment. You eat breakfast, you have your lunch, you have supper, CHAZAQ Baruch, enjoy yourself. But don't forget the spiritual aspect. Thank Hashem, make a beracha, beracha rishona, beracha achrona. Right? Don't forget to study some Torah, to know what your purpose is in this world. We started off by telling you that animals, plants, fruits, vegetables, all of creation is called Tov. God says it is good. But when God created human beings, He didn't say it's good. Why? Because human beings must prove it. And you guys are in this world, every single one of us, to have a certain mission, to live by a certain purpose. And the Torah is the Hora'at HaChaim, it's the guidance of life. And I tell you right now, Be'ezrat Hashem, don't say, you know what, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to change after Tisha B'Av. You know, once Tisha B'Av comes, it's going to be a new person. Give me 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks of the summer, and then you'll see I'll be a different person. Habibi, you change tonight. Don't push it off. A person should take upon himself, every single man, woman, it doesn't matter what age you are, tell yourself, you know what, let me change this, let me change that. You need help, you can speak to me, speak to someone else in the shul that can help out. But the point is, start changing, start formulating the kind of life you want to live, start formulating the kind of life you want your children to have, start formulating the kind of life you want your family members to have, because you affect everyone around you. Every single person, when you do something, it has an effect in the people around you. Don't underestimate it. Kol Yisrael Arvim Zeh Lezeh. When I do a mitzvah, the spiritual aura in the air makes another person have an easier time to do a mitzvah. When I do an averah, the spiritual aura in the air makes it easier for another guy to do an averah. Right? So when you change, the people around you are affected. At first they'll say, what happened to you? Come on, what is wrong with you? You know why? Because when they see you living a life with a purpose, and they see you have goals, and you're telling yourself, this is okay, this is not okay, this is chiyuv, this is not, right? It eats them up. It's like, come on, man, you're making us feel guilty, man. Come with us, just forget about it already. Right? We have to stand with the emet, and don't let those critics come and disturb you. Right? Don't let it bother you. But at the end of the day, you have to realize you want to live a life of Tov. And you know, Shlomo HaMelech says, Tov Shem Mishem and Tov, V'yom HaMavet Miyom Hivalado. You ever wonder what that means?
No.
You never wondered? Okay, so let me try to get you interested in this. but you notice in our community, when they do Ashkava, they always mention this pasuk. Tov Shem Mishem and Tov, V'yom HaMavet Miyom Hivalado. Then we mention the name of the dead person. Right? What is the meaning of the pasuk? It says Tov Shem Mishem and Tov. Better a name than good oils. A good name is better than good oils. V'yom HaMavet, the day of death, Miyom Hivalado is better than the day of birth. Let's get something straight over here. Last time I checked, when someone's born, oh, Mazal Tov, hey. And when someone dies, we're crying, unless it's your enemy or something. We're crying. So what does it mean? Tov Shem, Hishem and Tov, V'yom HaMavet Miyom Hivalado. That a good name is better than good oils, and the day of death is better than the day of birth? What are you talking about? So I saw an explanation as follows. This is how we're going to end off. Tov Shem, Mishem and Tov. A person whose life, whose name was about Tov. What do we say Tov is? Ki lekach Tov matati lachem torati ata'azovu. A person who lives a life of Tov, torati ata'azovu. Don't leave the Torah. You live a life of Torah, Mishem and Tov. It's better than oils. What am I referring to? People that want to embalm their bodies, they used to put different oils, different spices, whatever it is, to preserve the body from decaying, from rotting. Right? So, Shlomo said, nah, a life of Torah is better than oil. What are you putting? What is this worth? What about the neshama? What are you trying to protect your body? And then Shlomo HaMelech says, V'yom HaMavet Miyom Hivalado. The day of death is better than the day of birth. You know why? Because this guy that lived the life of Tov, the man or the woman that lived the life of Torah, the day of death is greater than the day of birth in that they fulfill their purpose. When they're born, we don't know what kind of life they're going to have. They might become Yaakov, they might become Esav. Right? So even though we're happy, but you never know what this person is going to do with his life. But a person that lives a life of Tov, a life of Torah, oh, Miyom HaMavet, the day of death is greater than the day of birth. Right? Not the Chaz v'Shalom waiting for the person to die, but he fulfilled his mission in this world. And this, I tell you, Morai v'Rabotai, every single person has the potential. You're an Adam. You're from Adamah. You're earth. Earth is full of potential. If you take the earth and you plant and you water, you give it the right amount of sunlight, the earth will grow into something beautiful. If you, who are called Adam, who are called earth, if you plant yourself, meaning if you plant, you put the time, you water yourself, you put the time into your learning, not just Torah, in anything in life. You want to become a doctor or a lawyer, if you put your mind into it, your goal into it, you will see the fruits of your labor. However, if you neglect yourself, one day you water, 2 days you don't, one day you this, then you let people walk on it, chaval al-zaman, you're going to have wishy-washy. So my challenge to you, Morai V'Rabotai, is to go on, tonight, take something upon yourself. Right? Take something upon yourself. Encourage other people to come learn of here. We have a learning program here every single night, 8:30 to 10 p.m. For men of all ages. We have different groups. Right? We have groups of Gemara and Halakha and Musar, English, Russian, Hebrew, whatever language you want. Get people to come in and learn Torah. Especially now you have summer vacation. You guys don't have high school or college, whatever it may be. Come in and learn Torah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, after 120 years, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say, this man lived the life of Tov. This guy lived the life of Torah. And we'll all be zoched to see it. B'yad Gol Tzedek v'Rabbi Amenu. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.